I've returned. And yes, I washed my hands afterwards. I do. Well, everybody watching again, or maybe you're watching now when you didn't before. If your eyeballs are on this broadcast in any way whatsoever, thank you. So, how have you been since we last talked? I've been fine. I'm about 2 pounds lighter. Sorry. I gotta make poop jokes. I gotta make poop jokes. It's who I am. Love me for who I am. As usual, every time I get on here, I don't really know what to talk about. That's just been me. Just the fact that I'm alive, that I'm breathing, that you know I got all four limbs. I got a little money in my pocket. Like there's a lot of things to be blessed about. So I'm just grateful for that. For all the garbage that I've been through the past few years, the fact that I can still have a smile on my face, I'm grateful. The fact that I can still want to speak to people, can still have a sense of humor. Pretty cool. So I didn't have a lot to talk about, anyways. Just more. Hope some of my friends get on here and I can talk to them, or anybody that wants to have a conversation. Really, I'd love to get to know new people just as much as I'd like to catch up with, make new friends, as well as catch up with old friends. So, Newfie, hello, sir. How you doing, bud? I haven't talked to you in forever. Newfie, we're still around. We're still alive. What a couple years this has been. Hell of a decade. Blech. I'm not bad. I'm not doing too bad. Thanks for asking. Good to hear you're well. Life is weird. That's about it. That's about all I can say. Ain't life funny. No, I'm doing okay. The signal keeps going from good to poor, so if we're having problems, I apologize. I usually have pretty good phone signal, so I don't know why we're having the issue. What are you gonna do? No, it's been steady. Sleep, get up. Am I hungry? Yeah, I think I could have something to eat. Go drive down the road, get something to eat. What do you want to do now? See what's on YouTube or what's on. Check my email, check my Instagram, check Facebook, check TikTok. Find something to amuse me until the sun goes back down, so I can go back to sleep, I guess. And then deliver pizzas every now and then. Scranton, headed to Fort Lauderdale. Excellent, excellent. Let me know when you get down to Florida. Let me know how everything is down there. Dealing with some pretty good weather, I would imagine. Like it's all the storms and stuff. I'm sure now it's pretty nice. Starting to cool off a little bit. So back in Knoxville, yes sir, yes sir. Yeah, I'm back home for my birthday. I got me my Tennessee license, so I'm officially a Tennessee resident. Uh, Tennessee plates, Tennessee license. The only thing not Tennessee is my phone number, but whatever. Yep. And now it's just head to the grindstone, deliver some pizzas, try to save up some money, working on getting my new van. I don't know how possible that's going to be, but give it a shot. I got like about $1,000 that I need to make to pay off a loan. Meanwhile, working on my credit. So maybe between my better credit. Uh, have you been over and have a cigar with the boys? As a matter of fact, I've had a few cigars. I did manage at one point to go and head over to Smokies, but everybody was kind of busy because um, they're making some renovations to the place. They're making a new humidor. Oh, excuse me. They're making a new lounge. Uh, and then they're going to change the old lounge to the humidor and then open up their space that used to be the humidor to, uh, more store space as you walk in the place. So Smokies, yep. Yeah, so they're gonna start making some. They're making some changes. So they were kind of really busy. I didn't have time to just sit down and hang out with them. But I don't know. Maybe tomorrow night. I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is when Sean works, who's the guy that I talk to the most. He's pretty cool. Um, he's the one that answered the phone, kept calling me Mr. Awesome. So, but yeah, that'll be nice to hang out with them again. I haven't had the money and I haven't had the time because working Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the mornings. I can't really be out late Thursday night or whatever. They must be doing well. Yeah, from what I gathered, they're they're the place to be. It's a great shop and cool staff. Uh, yeah, they're expanding, so yeah, that's going to be fantastic. Um, I would rather they have a Dunkin' Donuts next to them than a Starbucks. But I bought something the other day. I think it was a caramel macchiato or something like that, which wasn't too bad. I'm not big on Starbucks. If they had a Dunkin' nearby, that would have been perfect. But yeah, they're pretty cool. At some point, I'll get back to hanging out with them. Ooh, you know what would be swell? I don't know if it's something that'll happen, but what would be swell is another, um, what do they call it? Uh, uh, shit, what do they call it? It's not a bailout. Um, Another one of them checks. I can't think of what the checks are called, but that would be fantastic for me if something like that were to come along. What did they call it? Like another $800 check, direct deposit right in my account. That would bail me out for sure, but I can't think of what the name of it was. I just need a break. I wouldn't ask for another like $1,400 one. Universal basic income. Just thank you for being a citizen of the United States. Here's some money to help you out. $2,000 a month. Boy, would that help me out. Stimulus, yes. Another one of those would be swell. I don't see it happening. The previous two got me out of a pretty big, not say a big mess. It helped me out a great deal. I'll put it that way. I'm not one to ask for free money, but man, would that'd be swell. That would help me out a great deal. Because when I was young, I used to think about that. I'm like, man, what would it, or like when I used to play the game with Pam all the time, where we'd drive, be on the road, would see like the jackpot for Lotto, and I used to be like, okay, what would I do with that money? And then we'd talk about that. Like that was a fun game to play. But I don't do that as much. But every once in a while, I'm still like, oh, would that help me out? A big deal. Like just $1,000 may not mean much to some people, but to me, you know, when the discussion started coming back in, when stimulus checks were coming, and folks were still talking about universal basic income, that subject came up again. Um, like the idea of that, to not, to have $2,000, like that's the bulk of my, that would take care of everything. Like I could still work at Domino's, and all that money would just go into savings. Would just go into saving up to buy my new van, or save up to, you know, I get new tires. I could get I could improve. I could improve my quality of life. But being a kid and watching Star Trek, the whole idea of Federation of Planets, of a new way of life, like the humanity has improved so much that we've gone past a need for monetary gain. Instead, we go for personal gain, for improve ourselves intellectually, to pursue our dreams, to focus on bettering ourselves. And so the idea of a universal basic income is like, that's, if the being born in 1972, before computers, before cable television, before before the internet, before cell phones, to be born and raised before the technology age, and then not only see as a child Star Trek, but to see all the everything that's inspired, and to be old enough to live in a day when I'm living in a van and I'm living pretty nice. I don't really need anything. I don't really want for anything. But to go one step further and say that, you know, to be in an age where universal basic income may come into play, where I don't have to work, I don't have to, that struggle doesn't have to be there, like that, to live in that sort of a society, would blow my mind. It's a fun dream, at least. I don't expect it to be a reality. It'd be swell, but I don't expect it to be a reality. It's still nice to think about. And why not, really? Because after what we've just been through with the pandemic, I mean, I lost my girlfriend to cancer. Uh, I had to check myself in because I was close to doing something stupid, ending my own life. But I've recovered from that. I'm trying really hard to have a better attitude about life. So, I mean, I feel like with some help, I got out of this huge hole that I was in. And then the pandemic, losing people, you know, just being scared all the time and worried all the time. I would hope that there's something. I mean, it's the having a reason to be alive and having a desire to live and to pursue things and have a smile on my face. To go through all that, it would be really nice if there was something on the other end of it. If there was a going home with the family really picked you up. It was a good thing, a very good thing to be with family at the time. Like, I didn't know. I mean, you'd think in a way you're like, yeah, of course you need it, but I didn't know if that was just like wishful thinking. I've noticed a lot of things in my life, and one of them is the idea of being alone, being an individual, being, like not knowing you want to rely on family when you grow up and you think life is a certain way. You think family is always going to be there. Mom and your dad are going to love you and support you, and they're always going to be there. The whole you got to work hard, and you'll be rewarded for doing good things, and like the police are there to protect you, and the military is there to protect you, and the government's looking out for you, and you have this whole idealism, this whole positive outlook on life. And then as you grow older, you start to see the cracks in the picture. You start to see the flaws in what life is about, and you start to question things about like your spirituality, or how society treats each other, all the stuff that everybody sweeps under the rug and sweeps into the corners. How family can be sometimes. In the 90s, I remember coming down to Florida from New Hampshire. New Hampshire was a certain way when you were a kid. And I was going through changes there as well. Like, you think when you're a kid that the community is going to be there to support you, and that the people next door to you, the people down the street from you, it's like the old way of thinking, Like everybody kind of supports each other and looks out for each other, and like it's going to be this way forever. And then you see that that's not the case, and you move to like I moved to Florida, I moved to a different environment, and I don't know if it was the time or if it was a combination of the time and the place or what it was, but I started to see that families aren't always like that. There's a lot of, the families can just dump or turn against other family, and you start to really wonder. Like it starts to change your perspective, your reality of the situation. Um, and so I still try to be positive. I still try to be, you know, try to look forward to the future and say not everybody's like that. And you just got to stick to your guns and have faith. But then your faith starts to be shaken a little bit in the way that people are treating each other. Um, you start to see the way that people act and what they do. Are you at Little Caesars? No. Uh, you start to see the way that people live their lives and they treat other folks in the name of God. And so it starts to shake your faith a little bit. Like, okay, we really need to reevaluate what family is, and we need to figure out what God is, what the spirituality is. And so as you grow and you mature, you start to see that the world's not the way that it was. The world may never be the way that it was. You could try to be hopeful. There's a lot of people treat people shitty because they want to, because they feel like it, because they've had some darkness, they've had some bad stuff happen in their time, some trauma that makes them want to lash out, or they're just assholes. Like some people are just assholes. But and then you find somebody, and love is not what you thought it was. Marriage isn't what you thought it was. Uh, but you try to make the best of it through the years, and then you lose that person to cancer, and you don't know what the fucking life is anymore. Like at in my late 40s, to be with family, to be with my brother, and to be with my niece and nephew, to be with my sister-in-law, to be with my mom, to have that time when I was feeling bad, and also with COVID and dealing with a pandemic and trying to isolate yourself, trying to separate yourself, but to be able to isolate yourself and still remain with other people, I wasn't expecting that, but I'm so grateful that it happened, and it did make a difference, absolutely. Um, to have to go through this pandemic on my own and isolate myself even more, I probably would have been all right, but this made me better than all right. Um, yeah. Uh, so to get back to what you're saying, yeah, it did pick me up quite a bit. I still have a problem. I still have questions. I still have fear about my future. It's still very uncertain what's going to happen in my future now. But the right things happened at the right time. Um, Things have come into my life when I need them, whether I know it or not. That's kept me above water. It's kept my head above water. So yeah, I'm grateful for that. There may not be anything that I can do about anybody else and how anybody else treats anybody else, but I can focus on me and how I treat people and the type of people that I want to hang around with who will treat me right. So still hanging in there. Well, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna end the broadcast here. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, at least. Thanks for checking in with me, Doofy. Good to hear from you again. Again, anybody's eyeballs get on this. If you've watched this broadcast at all, thank you, and I hope you're doing well. Know that you're loved, and if you're going through some stuff, you're not alone in going through some stuff. There are other people that are struggling right there with you, and we got to stick together and love each other and support each other. So you got my support for sure. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.